Welcome back to the Elite 8 breakdown of the Southgate Student Ministry 8-ball pool tournament. This was an unbelievable tournament so far. The Elite 8 games to get into the Final Four were intense. They were angry. There were some upsets. There were some expected wins. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to get directly into telling you who won the games, who's in the Final Four, and who will be competing to be the champion of this tournament. In today's show, we have the breakdown of who won the games. We'll even have some highlights mixed in there from one of the games. We'll send it over to Logan Prentice. He'll tell us where everyone stands in their bracket challenge. And we'll also have some interviews with some of the losers to see how they're feeling. That was, and you'll see who those losers are in just a minute. Let's see how they're feeling after their defeat. Just as a reminder, as you can see, the Final Four will take place April 11th. That's tomorrow, that's Saturday, and the finals will take place on April 12th. So keep that in your calendar. Know to check back here for your updates on this tournament so far. So let's get right into it. We know we had this as the Elite 8. You had Grant Spears versus Max Ballard, Elizabeth Cato versus Colton Hickson, Wesley Jones versus Drew Butt, and Jacob Pollard versus Haley Mobley. We're going to start in the top left like we've been doing this entire time to see who won out of Grant Spears and the jerk, Max Ballard. And you know what? Grant's not the number one seed for no reason. He absolutely takes Max to the woodshed and beats Max 2-1 to win there. We get down to now Elizabeth Cato versus Colton Hickson. This intense matchup, and this is one that a lot of you didn't realize was going to happen, but it was actually a pretty 50-50 split, and we see Elizabeth Cato winning. She had some great shots. Let's check out a few of them right here. She ended up winning those games and went on and beat Colton Hickson in the last second of game number 3. Then we get up here to the top right, Wesley Jones versus Drew Butt. And yep, sure enough, Wesley Jones wins to advance to the Final Four. And then we get down here to Jacob Pollard versus Haley Mobley, and we see Jacob victorious there to advance to the Final Four. The question is, who are you rooting for? Maybe you should comment who you're rooting for in the Final Four. But I wonder who your bracket selected. How many of you are doing well up to this point? Let's send it on over to Logan Prentice. He's going to give us our information on how our brackets are doing so far.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the second edition of the Southgate Student Ministry 8-ball pool tournament breakdown. As you can see here, not a ton of change for the standings so far, but if you do notice, I had one loss in the Final Four predictions, and my one loss was going to be my champion. So anything is open right now. Stay tuned with us, see how these final predictions turn out, as we have 4 competitors left fighting for the top spot in the Chick-fil-A gift card. On the left side of our bracket, we have Grant Spears, the top seed, the favorite, who took down everyone's favorite jerk, Max Ballard. We're going to be hearing from Max later in our exit interviews for the tournament. He'll be facing off against Colton Hickson's worst nightmare, Elizabeth Cato, and then the winner of this matchup will be playing the winner of the underdog, Wesley Jones, on the right side, and he'll be facing off against the favorite from that side of the bracket by far, the Sunday morning phone player, Jacob Pollard. So everybody, be sure you stay tuned and see how this tournament turns out. It's going to be a wild finish. You're not going to want to miss it.
Thank you so much, Logan. I appreciate your breakdown of the Elite Eight. We'll look forward to seeing you back for the breakdown of the Final Four, to break down who's going to the championship. I personally know I had Elizabeth Cadle winning the whole thing, so she's staying alive up to this point, and we're cheering hard for her here in the McGreevy household. But what we're going to get to do now is we get to have some special interviews. Our first interview is going to be with Max Ballard, and our second interview is going to be with Colton Hickson. But let's go ahead and send it on over. Max, you went in all the way versus Grant. You were sitting there super excited. You were talking a ton of trash. How'd you end up losing this one?
I don't know. Quickly, I kind of recognized that Grant was not Anna Claire, and Grant was no joke. Grant, there's no surprise why the number generator gave Grant the number 1 seed. Quickly into the game, I realized that Grant was going to take this seriously, and I had to step up my game if I was going to have a chance to beat him.
Now there you said Grant's not like Anna Claire. What do you mean by that?
Well, Grant's the number 1 seed, and you have higher expectations for guys up there like that.
Now, Max, you ended up losing. You obviously went in ready to win. What happened in this game that you ended up losing?
I mean, like I said, Grant was ready to play, and I kind of think that I came into it a little overconfident, thinking that it would be a lot easier, and I kind of got slapped in the face a little bit by Grant in that first game. I had to kind of make a little comeback, but it apparently wasn't enough.
Now, Max, you obviously are known for being the jerk, the trash talker, so you talk the big game. Did that get you any response from haters, and how did that put pressure on you? Did that put pressure on you?
Yeah, I caught a lot of slack on Twitter and stuff, but I mean that just comes with being a guy that's apparently very hated. Yeah, I guess I play with an edge, and I'm proud of the way that I play, and it just wasn't enough that yesterday against Grant.
Max, I want to ask, do you have a question for your haters?
I mean, I'll be back next year. I mean, I'll always come back. When I get knocked down, I'll always get back up, and I'll be back next year ready to claim the title.
Now, on the flip side of that, do you have a message for your fans out there, if you have any?
And I wanted to say thank you to all my fans, because as you said, people love to hate me, and my fans are always sticking with me, so I appreciate those little few.
Hey, do you have any words for Grant as he moves on in the tournament after defeating you?
I wish Grant luck, because obviously it'd make me look better if he went on and finished this, and I have full confidence in he will. I think Grant's my number 1 favorite to finish this pretty easily.
Now, obviously, you were defeated by Grant. He's going on and playing against Elizabeth Cadle. Do you have any words of advice to Elizabeth on saying how she could defeat Grant, even though she should not really be taking advice from you?
I've never seen Elizabeth play, but I would just say that she needs to come out fast, because that's the way Grant plays. Right away, he was knocking there, and like it was nothing. So I would give advice to Elizabeth, saying try and throw the first punch at Grant, and he might fall down.
Hey, thank you again, Max, so much for doing this. We really appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Now this is very exciting. We get to go over to Colton Hickson and see what Colton has to say about his matchup. Colton obviously failed to be victorious. You look defeated. How do you feel after your failure?
Well, Ben, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself because I just didn't go out there and play to the best of my ability, and I'm disappointed. Mostly, I'm shameful because I know I had a bunch of people in my corner. I know I had a bunch of people rooting me on, and I let them down. And so I wanted to apologize to my fans, and yeah, it was a tough loss.
Colton, you were a single game away from the Final 4. What happened? How did you end up losing?
Oh yeah, man. I was this close, you know. You know it, and I know it. I was this close, and yeah, just a letdown. Feel really upset about it.
Colton, if you could change one thing about the game you played, what would you change?
Honestly, I think it just all comes down to my lack of focus during the first game. I wasn't focused on the game. I was busy, thinking about other things, doing other things. So if I could change anything, I'd dial it in more and get more into it, honestly.
Hey, do you have a message for Elizabeth as she moves on in the tournament?
Elizabeth, you played a great game. I wish you the best of luck. But you are ruining my bracket, so try not to do good as well. Good game, well played, and best of luck to you and the rest of the team.
Well, Colton, thank you so much for joining us today during this tough time.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you guys so much again for tuning in for this Elite 8 recap. Be sure to stay tuned to hear about the Final Four that's taking place tomorrow. That's something you don't want to miss out on. Be present, be aware. See you back here tomorrow.